How you going, guys? Matt from D's on Dust Hunting here. Probably brought to you by Barry & Son Firearms. Here today, I'm just going to run you through, we've had this XQ Trail 3 for approximately 3 months now. Time with it has come to an end. We hand it back tomorrow, back to Barry and the team to go to another sponsored shooter. We're going to give you a rundown and basically our thoughts on it, both Ed and myself, excuse me, what we found with it, the pros, the cons, and the market that we could recommend this to. So to start off with, I've been running this on my 223, so my Tika Ace game. I ran it for probably about 4 or 5 shoots for both foxes and kangaroos. The biggest pro with this device is its lightweight and compact size. When we're running in side-by-side Polaris, real estate is precious to us. We're both big guys. I'm 6'2", Ed's 6'3". Trying to have the scope sit in the middle of the buggy and it not interfere with anything else, being GPS units or being with the iPad. We found that the compact nature of this is brilliant for that application. Having rapid draws coming out from the rifle holster onto the front of the shooting rail has been fantastic. The acquisition, or the target acquisition in this has been superb as well. So this model here is the XQ50. This is designed for the medium range format. I'm not going to get into complete specs. You can see that on their website. But this has got about 3.5 times base magnification. It's been fantastic for open paddock shooting, especially when in the winter season now, where the average temperatures have been getting about 3-4 degrees. We've been playing around with the settings. We've been playing around with different color palettes. Personally, for myself, I like white hot. Ed likes the aquamarine or the ultramarine. It's just what our eyes are used to, but the performance of these is next level. We've been able to shoot foxes out to about 200 with this device. Ed has this mounted on his 17 HMR and it's been fantastic for close range, anywhere between 100 to about 125 meters on a pretty calm night. The detail in what we're seeing in the foxes here is fantastic. It's the size, it's the image quality. We know if it's a fox between a dog on these properties. Some of these properties we do go on, we have to be careful with their working dogs. If they do break out from their house, the last thing we're going to want to do is unfortunately shoot one of them. So the Trail 3's clarity there is fantastic. The laser rangefinder on the top hasn't failed us yet. It's been very, very accurate in what we've been aiming at. I think the max range we get on this was about 800-900 meters off some trees down the bottom of the valley there. Not designed for that distance though, obviously. Awesome target identification, probably out to about 250-300 on foxes, and for kangaroos or anything larger like that, easily identifying them out to about 600-700 meters. Getting heat signatures out to about 1 kilometer, we found this worked very well. One of the big advantages we found was the ambidextrous focus dial at the front here. Very easy to use, especially with wearing gloves. We've had some nights out here at about 1 degree or even -2 or 3 degrees, and we do wear our thick gloves, and it's quite easy to use the little spacer, what do you want to call it, up here. Easy to find it, focus it on our target, and then acquire it very quickly. The other thing we do like about this is the laser rangefinder button is on the side here, very easy to navigate, and on the opposite side to change the color palette is quite easy as well. Buttons at the top, the turn rotator dial. I'm not the greatest fan of this at the moment. Wearing gloves and that, it's very hard to get the precise clicks compared to the buttons that I'm used to on the RXL or XP series scopes that we do have. Does take us a little bit getting used to. That's only because we've run the other scopes in the past. If you're a brand new buyer or customer to the Pulsar range and this is one of your first thermals you're going to get, very easy to navigate. More easy than the actual rifle scope range. The mounting we found for us, we tried a couple of different options. First off, we went with the Magnetech magnetic mounts. Now, this does require a pick rail adapter to be bolted onto it, which is purchased separately. You can get this one with the single mount, or there is a double mount version. With the Magnetech scope rings, we've found that we've had to put a Picatinny rail adapter on, which does raise the scope height of this to about 70 to 80 mil. Does sit high. but we have managed to work around that by just raising the cheek piece. Alternatively, on Ed's 17 HMR, we mounted it directly to his pick rail. Very low profile when it's done in that configuration. I think it's at about 50 to 55 mil scope height. The reason that's important is for your ballistic calculations. So each rifle profile we set up, we made sure that we had the caliber, the grain we were using, and its velocity, or feet per second. Very important when we're doing shots over 150 meters. 10 profiles were logged into this, switching between all our rifles that have the Magnetech scope holders or magnets on them. Nothing dropped zero. Absolutely fantastic. Everything held zero as long as we remembered to put the correct profile in. Now, we are getting the XR50 version in the next couple of months from Barry & Sons, courtesy of TSA. That is the high version, the 640 sensor. For us, it's going to be fantastic in the high def identification in the open paddocks. It does, I believe, have a net Kelvin of about 17. Don't quote me at the top of my head there. That's going to be great for us in the colder weather coming in. It's really going to give us more definition, and it'd be great to compare the XQ50 to the XR50. Looking really forward to grabbing that. Both models are identical in size, they're identical in mounting, it's just the internals that are different. The one thing that we really did like with these Trail 3s is how easy it is to take the battery out. This is an LPS7i battery. Now, these aren't compatible with the Thermion 2 range. They are unique and proprietary to this device. They do come with 2 batteries. We were getting about 8 hours of run time and we still had 20 to 30% battery left. So we always had one charged in the buggy on the side by side. These also can be charged independently with USB-C here on the back, which is great. So we have one sitting in the buggy on charge all times. And it's just as simple as lining it up, pushing it in and putting that down. And it's as simple as that. You can charge these with USB-C on the side here as well. We haven't had a need to do it that way when we've been running these units. Main advantage of this, and for customers who want to get into the thermal market, my recommendation would be it's your style of shooting. For us, we do a lot of side-by-side driving with thermal roof-mounted thermal devices and also binoculars. We do run the Mergers and the Symbians as well. So for us, we do predominantly shoot out of the buggy, but it has called for us sometimes to get out the buggy and go for a walk into paddocks and close that distance. This is where the Trail 3 came into its own. Mounted to my lightweight 223 Tikka Ace game, we could walk the paddocks fairly easy. It's not too heavy on the front end of the rifle to hold up. It's very well balanced. With Ed 17 HMR, fantastic. That was our primary go-to when we left the buggy to walk the fields. With that mounted on, we used one of the Screed Runner or the Vortex switchback tripods. The lightweight of this, it's half the weight of the Thermion series, and the price, it's second to none really. I believe on the top of my head, these roughly retail for around about the 44 to 4800 mark, and I believe the XR50s are around the $51 to $5300 mark, depending if you option it with the rail or extra batteries. But that's the predominant use of this, is the lightweight. You can get out into the field, you can get close to your targets, especially with foxes and that. We're trying to close the distance to about 100 to about 130 meters for some good ethical shots. We are using 55 grain normal ammo at the moment. So paired with this with the ballistic app is absolutely fantastic. The other good thing that it took a bit of getting used to was the eagle eye zoom function on these. So it's the new layout that they've put into the Pulsar range. Instead of having the square box magnification on the top, they actually had the crosshairs have a circle come into here, but did magnification for you. So it's to keep your field of view wide on the larger side of the screen. Fantastic when you're getting in close to these critters, especially getting around the 100 meter mark. We were stalking a couple of foxes a couple of weeks back. We had about 3 or 4 in the background. We're able to shoot our target fox with that eagle eye function on, but we could also see where the other foxes went in the direction they ran once we actually pulled the trigger. So here in WA, we're not allowed to use suppressors. So it does make it noisy and it does make it hard to get multiple shots on the vermin out here. But the field of view on this is quite fantastic. Daryl and the team at Barry & Sons have these back in stock at the moment. So if you are interested, go in store, ask them to have a look at it, grab it, turn it on in the shop, see how it feels. We do have another info night coming up in the shop, I believe, in about 4 to 6 weeks' time. We're just waiting on the final details on that, where we will do a PowerPoint presentation, not so much on the specs and the tech, but more on the recommendations of what suits yourself, what application you need it for, and then we go into more detail about supporting gear, being the chronographs, the vortex, wind meters, the kestrels, and so forth, different type of mounting styles. So once we release the date, come and see us down there. In September sometime, we do have another demonstration shooting night. That'll be held down south near Kojonup. So once we know the details of that more, we'll post it on our socials. We'll have all this gear on display. We'll have the Trail 3s, the Thermium gear, the mergers, the new Symbions, just like we did at our last show, hands-on, so you can actually shoot these in the real world, see the target acquisition on them. We put rounds under 500 grade steel, so you can see the true impact on how these work. Though we sold quite a few of these on our last thermal night, so it just goes to show that once the customers actually got their hands on them and they demonstrated them, it's just fantastic. And the price point is on point for what they are. Great bit of kit, guys. Keep posted for our upcoming videos, especially when we get the XR50. We really want to do a comparison video to that on the quality, especially the conditions. For out here in the Murchison and the wheat belt, temperatures do change dramatically. If you're shooting between 7 PM till midnight and then from midnight till 7 AM, there is a bit of a temperature change. You just got to be aware on how these things operate and how they work in changing the parameters. If you don't do that, you're just doing yourself a misjustice. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys on our next demonstration night. Any questions, head over to our website. We've got more specs and details on there. Keep watching our YouTube and our Instagram channels for posting updates. A lot more content coming this year into next year, with a lot more exciting gear coming from our partners, courtesy of Barry & Sons. Yeah, cheers guys, and we'll see you on the next one.